Right, right. I'm curious, when we talk about cross morphology transfer, you've had a lot of great research in this where I saw examples of a person moving their hand and the dog would also move their hand. How do you ensure that that correspondence holds? Can that ever be messed with?
That's very good question. That what do you mean by math? We need to define it first, I guess. In simulation, I believe we try to train and train over again. Sometimes we find some kinks, then we train that part. We fine tune the policy to remove that. When it comes to teleoperation setting, it's a little more difficult. We want to know what's the intention, human intention from the dam motion. Still, it's kind of the little unexplored territory, I would say. But I believe that we need to understand what was the original intention of the human and what robot can do, and try to project that. There can be even noise in the human intention. We want to project the motion onto what robot can do.
Yeah, when I say mess with, yes, noise is a factor, but it's also
Mhm.
safety. Yeah, the robot could damage itself. It has to know what's a valid motion for its morphology versus
Mhm.
not. How does that selection mechanism happen?
It can be approached by many different things. One possibility is that we try to build some motion scale repertoire of the robot, what robot can do, and we try to stay within that repertoire. We can model the skill space in the latent space, and then we try to project everything onto that latent space, for instance. That's one of the approach, I guess.
Very interesting. I'm curious about your sword fighting example as well. I was at ICRA and I saw the spot robot
Huh?
handling the sword. How did that happen?
That's still same. Still that's kind of the one example I mentioned. We that called I believe you've seen that ACE paper, I guess, the adversarial correspondence learning. We model what robot can do. We build a very compact controller that takes the very small dimensional latent space factor as input and do variety of the motions that kind of formulates the manifold of the what robot can do, and then we've tried to find the correspondence between the what human is doing and that small latent space factor. So when human is acting on it, then we already know the correspondence between human motion and what robot can do. So by following that manifold, which is the manifold of the what robot can do, robot is kind of trying to imitate what that human is trying to do. For it can be sword fighting, it can be chair pulling motion.
Very, very cool. And it's interesting to me because I also want to understand, can you reconstruct that dog motion or the animal motion back into human motion? There's the paper that you came up with, Cross Loco,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
that does this. Is this a way to verify that the skill transfer happened perfectly if you can reconstruct it back into the original motion?
That's something we found that's very helpful. We don't want to say that that's super necessary because the motion retargeting itself is also, it's a historical topic in computer graphics and robotics. So we don't want to say that that's super, super necessary. But I believe the beauty of the key finding of the cross-local paper is that the correspondence, cycle correspondence is actually very helpful when we do motion retargeting. We want to have some one-on-one correspondence. The human motion must be able to translate into robot's motion, and then robot motion must be able to cycle back to the specific motion. By having this kind of the constraints, we can have better motion correspondence.